It feels very weird to be recording this early. It's 11 o'clock. There's no lights on in my room. I've gotten out of bed and I woke up an hour ago. And it's so weird because I never talk in the mornings. I always talk, at the end of the day when all like my thoughts are processed properly and I've had time to marinate on things. I mean, like my face is still like puffy from sleep. Like that's how bad we are. Like my eyes are like I've got sleepy in my eyes, or whatever it's called. I don't actually know what it's called. I call it sleepy, but which is why it feels so weird to come on this early and just speak. But I've been thinking about this since last night, actually, because I said that I went for a nap, and I don't usually nap. Like, I'm not capable of napping unless I'm like really tired or really sick. And I happened to be tired yesterday because I got like 4 hours of sleep because maybe even less, because I was up like doing my psychology, right? Um, and yes, I was tired and I went for like a nap. And I don't think I've mentioned this on here, but I've had multiple dreams about Broski. Like when we were first talking, I think like the second day that we started talking, I started having dreams about him. And it was just normal dreams where, like, I don't know, it would like my brain would give me a scenario of like us two on a date or something, and it would just be that kind of thing over and over. And then when he stopped texting me, I kept getting dreams of like excuses and like him responding to me. Like I would literally have a dream where the entire content of the dream would be, "Oh my god, I'm sorry for ghosting you for like 3 days," and then he would explain himself, and that would be the whole dream. So like very clearly, I was like wanting responses. But that stopped after a while. Um, and after that nap, like during that nap, I woke up like 2 times or something, but then I went back to bed. Um, and then during like the last sleep part, I had a dream about him where he again gave me an excuse, and this is like the first time in like basically 2 weeks that I'm dreaming about him because I've had other dreams in amongst this, whether it's to do with like K-pop or like survival game type dream thing. So this just felt very out of place. And it was again like another excuse dream where he just like came on and it was an excuse where like it turns out that he lost his phone when he was out with his friends on that Saturday. And then somehow the phone got traced back to his cousin who was like in Alaska or like something like that. Um, and then that was just kind of the contents of the dream where it was trying to like connect me to him through like this elaborate thing. I don't know. And I woke up and I didn't realize it then, but I felt icky about the dream. Like I realized it, but not to what extent I would have felt icky. Because I woke up from it and I just sat there in my bed and I was like, oh, I mean, okay. Like, that's literally exactly how I felt. Like, I just felt confused and uncertain. And then, uh, like a few hours after I recorded yesterday's video, I I was just sat there, like mucking around on my phone or whatever, and I remembered the dream, and then I started to kind of deep it a little bit, and I realized that I just feel so icky about it. And this is like after I obviously accidentally like video called him or whatever. And I think this might be me like actually properly getting over him because the thought of him giving me excuses for his behavior is now starting to feel icky. It's not starting to feel, oh my god, finally he's back and he's explaining himself. It's like, oh, he's back. He wants to pay me attention and he's trying to justify the bad things he did. That's what it's starting to feel like, I think. And you know, sometimes how it is where like you sleep on something, you give it a day or two to marinate, and then your opinions on the situation are more collected and more certain than that in the moment feeling. But I don't think this is going to be an in the moment feeling type of thing. Like, I think that this is part of the journey for me to properly put him behind me. Because especially in the early phases when I did like start going on Bumble and start like using it, I I mean for like the first little bit I started using it and then I kept like swiping no on everyone, or the people that I did swipe yes on, it was very much like they could probably give me the same thing he gives me. And I like paused my profile and I like mentally removed myself from the situation because it wasn't fair on all of those people and it wasn't fair on myself to be comparing people to him. Whereas I'm not doing that anymore because I've had time to come to terms with it. Now when I like swipe on Bumble or I'm talking to people on there, it's very much like, what can you give me? How can you complement my life in the future, right? Which is how it's always supposed to be. So I genuinely think that I'm making emotional progress on that front. Um, and it's just kind of a good feeling to realize that, because like even if mentally I'll always be left wondering what if, at least me in the present is accepting of the fact and even a bit grossed out by the fact that he's probably not going to message me back. That sentence didn't even really make very much sense, but it's whatever. Yeah, that's kind of the majority of what I wanted to talk about, just to myself. It feels so weird being in like natural lighting because the window's there and not to have this shitty fucking lamp making me look about 50 years old. I'm not that old, guys. Promise. I'm just inexperienced with the world, I guess. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm gonna upload this later though, even though I'm recording it really early because I feel like it would be weird to upload at 11 o'clock. So we're probably gonna leave it a bit. I said I'd do the girl from the Ring cosplay. Wait, I don't know how this is gonna work. I feel like I should brush my hair a little bit. Ugh. Because like I actually look like the girl from the Ring. It's crazy, man. Okay, wait, yeah, I'll just put the mic down on the fucking thing. Okay. This is the girl from the Ring. And imagine like a 5-year-old wearing like a white dress, just being like, Mummy! Don't know how much of the audio was caught on mic. Probably nothing. I don't even know why I fucking put the earphone in. I don't use it. I don't hear anything when I speak. But yeah. I think I'm making good progress. I think no. I think that I'm taking steps to be better, even though I'm not even really realizing it. I mean, my dreams, they've always been, well, I say always, I can refer back to 3 years ago ish when I say always. But I've had like almost prophetic dreams, which have helped me realize like the things that I want from life and the things that I need from life. But it's always done in like a semi subtle way. And like a lot of my dreams are just wacky. Where like I'll give an example. I had this dream like 5 years ago where there was like four dimensions, like the fire, earth, wind, water dimension, right? And it was like a race through the dimensions to try and collect like puzzle piece type things. And then there were characters from my favorite show at the time, and they were all like split into groups. Um, and there was only one entrance to each of the dimensions. So if you like go into a dimension, you like find a puzzle piece, then you have to go back out the same entrance to get to a different dimension, right? And then like yeah, so that would take you back to like the main lobby, and then from the main lobby you choose which elemental dimension you want to go into. Um, it turns out that like secretly at the end of the dimensions, there's like a secret way to get into another dimension by like doing a special task, right? So, um, it's like it's like a secret door, kind of, and you need to do something to trigger the secret door. One of the triggers, the only trigger that was revealed in this dream, was to get from the earth dimension to the water dimension. And they don't know like which dimension it's going to. It's like the point is that you're just doing something randomly and then you get transported kind of. There was like a seesaw. Like I don't know if it's different for people in different countries, but like the playground thing where it teeters like that. Except it didn't have like any covers on the sides of the pole. So one of the people in the team, a guy, was like, ha ha ha, I'm gonna piss into it. So he pisses into this, and because it doesn't have like any covers at the sides, like the piss goes from one side into another, and then by doing that, it transported them into the water dimension, where there was a bit in the middle of like a giant lake where there was just like a stream of water in the water. It was so wacky, and that's what my dreams are usually like, where it's just insane. Um, but I've had dreams where they've like actually changed the trajectory of my life. As weird as that sounds, not that the dreams themselves have, but the messages that came with the dreams. Um, where long story short, 'cause there's a lot more details to it. I had a dream one time where uh like my family and like just people kind of got like kidnapped and like stuck in a room with these like mob gangster people, and they were like, if everybody in the room votes against sex slavery, then you're all free to go. If even one person votes for sex slavery, then you're gonna be everyone in the room, well, all the girls, and there were children in the room as well, are gonna be put into sex slavery. Um, and one person stands up off the bat because the motivation for men to stand up was if you vote for sex slavery, you're gonna get three girls to yourself. Hmm. Reflecting beautifully on our world, but whatever. Um, so he stands up, and then like slowly everyone starts standing up because they're scared that like, oh my god, if we vote against this, now this is definitely going to be enforced, will something bad happen to us? Um, and at the end it was three people left. It was me, a girl, and then someone who I call L Boy. Um, so the girl stands up and she gives in to the peer pressure of it all. And because it's my dream, like I know what everyone's thinking. And I look at L Boy, and I call him L Boy because he's against the wall in like an L shape. like that, right? Where like his legs are against the wall, his like body is flat on the floor, and he's just like looking at his nails, like not a single fuck. Even though there's people with like guns here, like essentially threatening everyone. And because in my dream, I know that he's never gonna stand up. Like he just does not give a shit. He doesn't give a shit that everybody else is voting for this thing, even if they don't want it. Um, he's never gonna give into that because that's not what he stands for and that's not what he wants. Even if everybody else is voting for that, he's never gonna give into it. And then comes the point in my dream where I need to decide: do I stick with my guns and give in to some, or do I stick with my guns and keep sitting to show that this is something that I really don't want, or do I stand up and like give in to peer pressure because I'm scared of what's gonna happen and I'm scared of everybody around me who's gonna judge me for doing, you know, something that goes against the grain but is intrinsically like a part of who I am. And yeah, in the moment I literally couldn't make a decision in this dream, and I felt so overwhelmed by it that I like physically had to wake myself up from the dream. Like I opened my eyes because I handle it, couldn't handle that decision. And then I realized that it was all a big metaphor for peer pressure, and people pleasing, because this was the point in my life where my people pleasing was getting really bad, to the point where I was out with a friend at the cinema. After we watched something, they asked me like, "Hey, are you hungry? Do you want to go get something to eat?" I was craving McDonald's at the time, but I was like, "No, we don't have to. Like, you said you wanted tea, so we can go get some tea." Well, like, they were literally asking me, "Do you want to get something to eat?" I was feeling hungry, and I said no, because I was scared that if I did say that I was hungry and that I wanted to go eat, they would hate me for it, which is absolutely ridiculous, like literally bonkers. Because what the fuck? And then that happened, and then like a week later, I got this people pleasing dream metaphor thing. And I've never had any like idols or people that I like genuinely look up to in my life, just because like I don't see the point in idolizing someone or their beliefs or whatever. But like Elboy is my idol because he was true to himself even though there were threats, implicit threats against him, right? And even though everyone else was trying to sway him, he never let himself be swayed. And then not nearly as intense, but I had like a dream where, I had a vision, a vision of like me moving away from like my parents' house and going to uni somewhere outside of like the city where I was raised. And I I was happier then. And at the time I was in uni and I was just feeling like completely miserable with it. And I had that dream, and for like a month I was just thinking, would I be happier if I wasn't doing this anymore, and if I did try to go about things a different way. And I ended up dropping out. And I'm back at it again, but it's going better this time. And I'm glad that I did drop out because I was very fucking miserable there that time. And God, I can't remember your username because I swear it's just like a bunch of letters and numbers. I'm also really bad at names and faces and everything. Not that your profile photo has a face, but like who you are. You asked what I do, what I study, and I'm gonna slightly dox myself here. I'm so terrified of doxing myself. If you noticed, I will not even outwardly say what country I'm living in because I'm like terrified. I'm sure some people could probably infer, but I really don't want to be doxed. But I'm studying maths right now, and I want to be a maths teacher. When I was at uni before, I was also studying maths, but the way that they went about the course there was not my favorite. And me personally didn't love it at all. So I'm studying maths with the goal of becoming a teacher, nothing else. I I just want to help people, specifically kids where their teenage years are very tumultuous, where there's so much stuff going on. Um, and sometimes children don't have that person in their household to be able to support them through like craziness. Like some kids don't have good parental figures or ones that like aren't attentive to their needs, and maybe they don't feel comfortable with their friend group, or they don't have people that they consider true friends. And I almost want to be that person for them, where your needs aren't getting met in this aspect of your life. Maybe there's some sort of DV going on, uh, and school is your only escapism from that, because that is true for quite a decent number of kids, where their home life is absolutely tumultuous and horrible, and their only escapism is going to school. But yeah, I don't want to teach like the younger kids. I want to teach like the older kids, like the teenagers, like the middle school, high school, that sort of stuff. Number one, because the content for maths is more interesting. Um, but also because that is the age range where so much stuff happens, both to your body and you mentally, and then you're trying to wrestle with like, how do I have my own identity while still keeping my parents like happy, or uh what's the word I'm looking for? Is like placated or placated, something along that line, or like pacified. Oh my god, there's a word. I think it starts with P. Appeased, that's the word. How to keep your parents appeased while still not breaking any boundaries of theirs. Um, and also having your own life. And it's just very tumultuous, and kids don't know how to cope with that. They don't know any form of coping mechanisms. I sure as fuck didn't, which is why my coping mechanism at that age, which I didn't even realize was a coping mechanism, was to take it out on other people. And I would take it out on other people, and I look back at that point in my life and I literally feel disgusting with myself. Like my best friend, I did like horrible things, and I still think about it very often, and I still apologize to her. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm like genuinely so sorry for like everything that I did, because I was horrible to you. Like, I genuinely don't know why you're still friends with me. And then she tells me like, it's fine, I've seen that you've like grown and changed, I'm over it. And even though she's over it, I'm not over it. Because I hurt someone that I really care about, and I'll never forget that I hurt her. And I don't deserve to forget that I hurt her, honestly. Because if I forget that I hurt her, then it makes it seem like it's okay when it's not okay. God, again, on the verge of tears. Not actually crying, though I feel a tiny bit like I want to. But yeah, I feel like I should end it now. I I'm meant to be going and meeting my friends tomorrow. Um, because we're going out to a club. Um, so yeah, I'll have uni, then I'll need to go and travel for that. I don't know if I'll end up talking tomorrow. If I do, it might be while I'm doing some sort of makeup, though I don't know if I'll have time to do makeup because I don't actually know what what time I'm supposed to be meeting with them for dinner. Because we're supposed to be meeting for dinner, then having like drinks and then going club. So yeah, if I end up having a bit of downtime here to do my makeup, then I'll probably talk a bit while doing that. If not, then I'll take makeup products and obviously do it at my friend's place where we're having the drinks. But yeah, yeah, a lot, I guess, to talk about, but also really nothing. What did we talk about? We talked about dreams, and then we talked about future motivations. Speaking of future motivations, I'm doing my maths homework today because I need to do it today. Because tomorrow I won't have time for sure. Then on the Saturday and Sunday, I'm gonna be staying back with my parents at the family home. So I'm not really gonna be bothered to do the maths there. Okay, this has been Amelia signing off. And in terms of replying to comments as well, I want to mention quickly that if you leave a comment, I probably won't reply until like a day later because I know myself and I don't want to get obsessed with views and analytics and likes and comments and everything. So my YouTube studio is switched to my quote unquote burner account. You know, like the account that you've had since you're like 7 years old, and it's called like Tiny Fire Octopus Blaze Runner 73. You know, those types of accounts. So I have it switched over to that purposely so that I don't get notifications when people comment. Um, but yeah, I I think I'll be checking comments before I record in future, and then I'll upload, and then I'll actually respond properly to the comment so that I can discuss elements of things that were potentially said in comments that I want to discuss, or yeah, so that I can discuss that and that afterwards have a proper response in relation to what you said. Yeah. Okay. This is my longest one so far, right? Probably because I've been probably because I've been speaking so slowly. My face still feels numb. Like it's hard to smile fully. Like that hurts. It's so hard to smile fully. Okay. Right. I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna have breakfast. And I'm gonna I'm gonna try and live my best life today. And I'm gonna write in my little diary, which I've been meaning to write in for a few days now. So, bye bye.